Growing up, soccer was the main sport for me and my brothers Harry and Charlie. Just after I turned 12, my cousin got drafted to St Kilda. How lucky was I? What better role model than Nick Riewoldt? I idolised Roo and wanted to be like him. His preparation, his professionalism, unrivalled in the AFL. Week to week he'd get himself up for matches, but then he'd push his opponents and outlast them. Watching him run is phenomenal. You can only imagine what the defenders are thinking. His individual achievements are well documented, but it's his capacity to lead and the one thing all of his teammates will remember. Not only is Roo the leader of the St Kilda Football Club, but he's also taken the mantle of the leadership in our family post-tragedy with Maddie passing away. I think that'll be his greatest legacy. As a cousin, as a friend and as a family member, it's the one thing I'm most proud about with Roo. No matter what happens today, as it has been for over 300 games, he'll walk off the mighty MCG absolutely exhausted. The captain! Having given everything for his teammates, for the club and for the game that he loves. Good luck in your last game, big fella.
Pretty inspiring stuff. Riewoldt's everywhere today, whichever way you look. And the one on the left may well be his last game of St Kilda. Don't get a piece of September this year, which is, I've got to say, highly unlikely. On the other hand, Jack Riewoldt doing a great job in his leadership pursuits at the Tigers, and they are looking for a big game. Let's have a look at the lineups
when you're ready. Yep.
After this.
Heads the call. It's a tail, Trent. All right, good luck, guys.
So, Lee, an opportunity for you to have a look at the Richmond lineup today.
Yes, well, I mentioned earlier that they've got just a great defensive unit. Asprey's taken the main tall, and Rance and Grimes have been good. This is where St Kilda got hold of them in round 16. That's the game where St Kilda won by 60-odd points, and Memory and Bruce and Riewoldt between them kicked 10 goals. So they got hold of the Richmond defence, which no one else has done pretty much all year. But they've been strong. The St Kilda lineup that pops up there, well, they've been in good form. They had a good win against North last Sunday. We were there. Brown and Carlisle have been good in those defensive positions, but I reckon it's in that forward half, because I just think cracking the Richmond defence is what St Kilda have to do. They have to win around the middle of the ground, but again, Riewoldt has to be good. Bruce and Membry, I think they have to be good. And Jack Stevens, Seb Ross, they have to be able to dominate the in-close. Jack Steele there we see. Gee, it's been an emotional week, hasn't it?
Yep.
I mean, if ever a player you think you can be sort of emotionally tired, because he had Nicky had the send-off last Sunday at Etihad all week. It's been on the radar. You just hope he's not mentally tired already.
Brad, what do you make of it all down there?
Come out in their droves here. You can see top level of the southern stand. It's filling up really quickly. It is absolutely freezing down here, mind you. It's going to be a hot start. Full dress rehearsal for Richmond. St Kilda looking to send their champion out in style.
So Sunday footy at the MCG, finals around the corner, a retiring champ, and we are away. Prestia, first real use of the football. Robin left it behind Dustin Martin. Well, as he's done all year, gets rid of an opponent, feeds another. Lambert, Butler, Tigers, first score. Just on the emotional drain, Lee, you spoke about how tiring it must be. I just ran into Joe Riewoldt, Nick's old man. He said, I can't do this anymore. What's happening at Etihad?
He's exhausted, yeah. Yes, no, it's a memorable occasion, but yeah, the people directly involved that can be tiring.
Richmond need the win to clinch a top 4 spot. Pretty easy equation for them. Cochin snuck the handball through to Brandon Ellis. He gave a bit of a hope handball, and Bruce was on the end of it. Well done, though, by Grimes to work it forward. Here he is, Martin. Got around one. Thought about taking them on and then realised Grimes behind was a better option. The knock away there by Longer. Tidy up by Jack Stephen, and now ultimately Dunstan with a kick to Savage. Little ball to half-back, and as I mentioned before, Bruce a long way up the ground.
Small sample size, Lee, but Dustin Martin is playing in the most confident manner you've ever seen him play.
Well, he's so strong, he's so hard to tackle because of his power and the fend-off, which has become infamous now. And he's playing out of the forward line in this early part of the game.
So in the sunshine, Floston on a cold winter's day punches the Tigers forward. As Brian said, the equation is simple for Richmond. Win and jump into the top 4 for the first time since 2001 at season's end. The Saints, they're relying on plenty of results. Finals unlikely, but a chance to farewell their longest serving captain in style. A win at the home of the sport, and a sport that Nick Riewoldt has served so brilliantly for 17 years.
Only a small point, but Rance left his direct opponent to get over and support that contest. That's what Rance does so well.
Gresham, Loney it was, in fact. Trying to get it to Jack Stephen. Hooley was there, broke it up. Floston searching for Cotchin. Will have to get rid of it quickly. Trent Cotchin tackled by Steele. Did well. Grigg with a little left foot poker out wide. Jack Riewoldt there, trying to pick it up on the half volley. Gee, they smacked in there. Both the Richmond and St.Kilda players tied up together. In the meantime, Savage.
Drop the arm, St.Kilda.
Free kick the way of Membry. In the sunshine, which hasn't been all that prevalent here today at the MCG. Freezing cold day in Melbourne if you're joining us from somewhere else other than Melbourne itself. The Tigers through Lambert at half-back, trying to find a way through McIntosh now.
Thought about bringing it broadcast side and then finds a man with long beard and plenty of space. Floston to the skipper. Strong ball to Grimes. Quick hands to Hooley. From the sun into the shadows and into the pocket. Over the back, Townsend, 6 last week. First game of the season. Butler gets rid of a couple, feeds it back. Hooley again, measures the kick. Top of the square, dangerous spot. Martin about the place. Riewoldt to Webster. Quick kick, going to come back. Cotchin unloads offline.
There's a lot of bodies going at the footy, wasn't it? And it was just a three-way. I think they've all come up okay from that.
Yeah, they have indeed, Lee. Back out in the Sinclair direction. Great little tap to Jack Stephen. Longer. Billings on that beautiful free-flowing left and presented it nicely to Riewoldt. Probably should have stuck that. Asprey there, though, with him. And Riewoldt securing the ball at the Saints half-forward end.
These two sides last met Saturday night round 16, and the Saints were flawless, particularly in the first half. Won the last 2 battles between these two clubs. Can they win again and send Nick off in style? Loney about the place. Hooley gets the kind bounce quickly by hand. They're away here, the Tigers. Rance over the top. Got support, does Grigg. Well weighted to Lambert. Back to Hooley. And again, the ball to half-forward. Riewoldt knew that pressure was coming. Brilliant to Butler. And his ball moved on quickly. That was sensational. Ends up with Townsend.
How good's that to watch, Lee?
Got some bounce out of the back line. That's they don't quite play the rope-a-dope, but their ability to turn the ball over in the back 50 and take it through. And Hooley's kicking skills is part of that strength. Generate the 3rd shot at goal.
And the quick thinking from Jack Riewoldt.
Yeah. The decision-making all the way through with those handballs, they made the right one every time, home.
So Townsend, first game for the Tigers this year last week. Kicked 6 goals, 1. He's rolling again early. Tigers get the first major of the afternoon. Went to training during the week, Lee, to have a look at the Tigers and had a chat with a couple of players afterwards. Trent Cotchin said, Damien Hardwick said to Jacob Townsend, tackle, put pressure on and kick 6. So he did everything, including the 6. Kicked 4 career goals prior to that.
Outstanding last week. Outstanding.
Well, around the grounds, this one just getting underway, but over at Etihad, Fremantle are storming home. Hayden Ballantyne kicks that goal. 12 minutes left in the game. 8-point margin, and Freo on the comeback trail there. Here,
Play on, no 15. Play on.
the Tigers continue. Longer. Nankervis. Nankervis been an excellent acquisition for the Tigers.
Back to him now. Clear out. Clear out.
Dion Prestia with the free. Riewoldt just caught behind here. He was leading wide and the ball came more up the corridor, and Nath Brown able to get on the end of it. So a good effort here.
Webster ambles out of fullback and works it in the Riewoldt direction. Almost, then Memory gives it back to Riewoldt. Steele hugs the boundary. Tackle is strong. Grimes, who hasn't missed a game this year, something he's never done before in a home and away season, takes his man to ground. That last passage of play, Brian, from fullback to the Townsend goal was breathtaking stuff.
It was beautiful to watch. Really good decision making, as I mentioned, and fluent. Prestia pulling the trigger on that one. Castagna. The urgency to want to quickly go forward with the footy is just great to watch. And Grigg now from directly in front and a comfortable distance for him.
Look like a team that are confident in their ball skills, so they move it quickly, no second, take the first thought. Really instinctive ball movement.
Both teams have got 5 20-plus goal kickers playing today. Grigg not one of those, but nevertheless has kicked 10. And here he is, a chance early in the game to add another for the Tigers. Straight as you like. Tigers have got a couple. Sean Grigg, game 189, really important player for the Tigers. And they all get around him, and so they should. So it's a confident starting Tiger outfit here. They are looking like they have got their sights set on a top 4 and nothing else. Great to watch.
That's right, Jenny. You've got to take your chances early. They've certainly had plenty of inside 57 already. They've had 3 scoring shots, 2 goals, 1. Dominating around the middle of the ground.
So Nankervis, who played so sparingly at Sydney, works himself into the middle. Ross having his best season, works it forward in the Bruce direction. Chance for Rance. Weller arrives. Help for Bruce. Asprey missed his man, wanted Graham. Clever from Stevens and then lost it in the end. Back it comes. Gresham on his left boot. Well, in the end, Broad could have taken that cleanly. Tried to knock it away. Dunstan was strong. Billings. Kobe Stevens. Mav Weller sees Sinclair. Sinclair onto his left. Fires at goal. Offline. Doesn't have the carry. And Rance, again, doing just what was needed.
Yeah, it was an inexperienced defender. If you can get 2 hands to the ball, mark it. But the insecure defender just says, I'm going to punch it, make sure the opposition forward has got no chance.
Good pressure from the Tigers. We know they've got it in their forward line in abundance. Clearly shown in defence there as well. Stevens had to get rid of it. Here it comes again. Every time St Kilda player gets it, there's someone hanging off him. Dunstan smothered. Weller, as he was trying to kick, had Hooley hanging off him. Juggling attempt, and well done in the end by Markov. He goes wide, looking for Townsend. Crashed back deliberately into Carlisle, knowing he was out of position. Could be out of bounds on the full here. Intelligent handball by Carlisle.
Just a low ball inside the forward 50 to Dunstan. So looking for their first, the Saints. Carlisle spotted his man, Dunstan, to the punt road end. Hoping to kick it over the head of the Richmond cheer squad.
15 gone.
A couple of behinds only last week in the .49 affair against North Melbourne. He's hit it well. It's faded late. 1 behind only, so the Saints on the board.
Done all right this year, the Saints, Lee, haven't they, really? They won 11 games, I think, looking for their 12th win here today.
Yeah, it's all a question of expectations. There's expectations that maybe they could win 13, 14, you know, get up towards the top 4.
What were your
that
expectations,
hasn't happened.
though?
Yeah. No, I think they've done a reasonably good year.
McIntosh.
It's very even competition. If you can win more games than you lose, I think you've got to say that at least you've had the starting point win.
Grigg, look at this. He had a wide ball on the left. He decides to go more direct towards Riewoldt. And Riewoldt not happy there. Good crowd, really good crowd in the G today. There's, as I mentioned before, been pretty cold, a bit of hail and snow. And when I left the farm this morning, it was snowing at our place. That was at about 10 o'clock. So, coolish day, Sinclair. Out wide looking for Membry. Rants over the back, trying to mark it. There's Weller.
On the ball.
Gee, handballed that.
Oh, there.
Interesting decision. Weller says, what are you talking about? I handballed it. Umpire was not in a good position to see that. McIntosh coughs up. Ross away.
Going to get it again here, Ross. Continues to charge. Looks inside. Nothing really doing other than a one-on-one. Gresham, Floston did well. Got a hand to it. Kept his feet. Paddles it into the pocket. Gresham goes with him. Moves him off the ball.
Played it well. You talk about, because he wanted to rush the behind in a way. He's under pressure, but he knows he can't rush it from the top of the goal square. So you pat the ball, knock it towards the boundary line in the forward pocket, chase it out. Floston did that really well.
So Longer.
Hold the arm. St.Kilda.
Well, advantage and a behind. It all happened so quickly. But Longer was looking for the ball to be thrown back in his direction. And I was looking at Longer, and I don't even know who hit the ball into the post.
A little bit of a mystery.
Dunstan.
Yeah,
Took the
Dunstan
advantage and missed.
Sinclair. Full traffic here. Butler had the ball knocked out in the tackle. Luckily for him, it was knocked out. Now under pressure is Broad. Gresham to Bruce, won't keep it alive. This is what happened. So it was called for the hold here against Grigg.
Takes the advantage, Dunstan, but missed. Simple enough, a good advantage, to be honest. You take it, but he missed it from 15 metres out straight in front.
Inside of the boot. Into the post it goes. Longer wins the tap, and then Grigg, the beneficiary, ends up with it around the corner. Jack Still, touch was a call play on. Dustin Martin went low. Riewoldt, clever hands, took it cleanly, gets rid of a couple of Saints just through beautiful evasive work, and then Cochin, just a half kick to the wing. Dustin Martin, a beautiful ball, and the Tigers are on again. Castagna takes it cleanly, takes a bounce, runs, bounces, over the top it goes. Tigers will get another. Townsend has 2. Remarkable to think that Townsend played his first game this year, kicked 6. He's got the first, well, he's got 2 of 3. He's got 2 for the afternoon. And prior to last week, 4 in his career. He was languishing at the Giants, couldn't quite get a run at it. And right now, he's a valuable part of this Richmond side.
Here we are, so typical of actually how Richmond have played this year. Martin, good use of the ball, and then the small, agile forward from Richmond run the ball in. Townsend kicked the goal, but it was the speed of Castagna and team and Martin's ball win that set up the goal.
Not very often you find a keeper on the eve of the finals. And they may have found one in Townsend. Here's Riewoldt. Longer. Riewoldt keeps going, trying to spin out with the footy there. McIntosh, Rioli. Sinclair clever. Steele. Being pushed back to the Tigers. Stevens. Need to find some forward ground. Savage around the corner. Difficult kick. And the Tigers live to fight another day in their forward half. Good pressure. And this is what I'm really looking forward to see today, is the Richmond forward line pressure on the Saints defenders.
Tackling pressure, 14 to Richmond, only 5 to St Kilda. But that is when, if you're small and agile, you've got to be involved in that second effort, tackling, lock the ball in.
Martin again took on the tackler, somehow got rid of the football to Nankervis. He pushes it forward. Webster to Savage under enormous pressure. Around the corner again. Longer jumped into Martin. Got hold of the football, St Kilda. Dunstan got it from Weller. Got it back from Loney. Happy just to retreat. They've still got the footy, but they're under enormous pressure, St Kilda. Dunstan to Savage. Beautiful kick. Nunes. Little handball over the top. Lots of white jumpers. Loney on the left to half forward. Rance, easy as you like, inside to Cochin.
See if they can counter-attack. St Kilda very quickly into a defensive mind here after that turnover. On the head of Nam Curvis, all knocked away. So we've got a big dark cloud hovering from the south. We may in fact get wet, we could get hail or even snow here today. It's
very, very cold down at ground level.
It's looming in, Sully. It's coming your way. You prepared?
Oh, I can't wait, boys. It is absolutely freezing down here.
Hooley, beautiful over the top and lets Markov run. Bounces back into his hands and then a long ball to half forward. Carlisle and Townsend, who's already got a couple of goals this afternoon. Just too hot for him. Ambitious kick in the end from Carlisle. Steele is there. Back to Savage by hand. The one down the line. Back to Steele, back to Savage, and then he backs himself with a little speed. Takes a bounce and goes for territory. Bruce, Floston, strong hands from Josh Bruce.
East-west, play on.
Inaccurate last time these two sides played. 2 goals, 5. Riewoldt the target, bounces off. Asprey, little pick-up. Rance, not sure what was meant for him. Markov did well. Now to Broad, chased by Loney, had time. Dangerous on the outer side. Martin's got the ball in hand. Heard the umpire, touch play on. Little gather from Sinclair. Measures things up to half forward. Well, in the end, well awaited. Grimes went at the football. Tigers end up with it. Martin again too strong.
Beautiful stiff arm by Martin. Out to Hooley now. Tigers on the march here. Bit of space. McIntosh wants to go. Sinclair manned him up on the mark and has made him kick over the mark. McIntosh a little slow to move the ball in my book, but Brown out the back, off hands. Dunstan did well to tidy it up. Longer. Roberton looking for Steele. Good overhead mark. In the one-on-one with Hooley. Kick to Billings in the middle. Left footer, remember, will like to go that way. They're on here. He sees Membry loose. Riewoldt's got space if they can get it there quick. Here's Ross on his favoured left. He ignores Riewoldt, much to his disappointment. And he goes to Weller, who couldn't make it. And Riewoldt turns, has a look, and another look. No words, but plenty of looks at Seb Ross.
No, Weller was the right target. The kick just missed him by about a yard. If he'd would have been an uncontested mark 15 metres out. So the option was right, but the kick just not quite accurate enough.
So the Saints still searching for their first major. Riewoldt involved there. Prestia to Hooley on his non-preferred right boot. Akers, right spot, then just has a look inside a very congested forward line. Takes a little off the kick. It'll land about 25 out. And Curvis has the height. Bruce a big fly. Wrapped up his Rance. The amazing thing about watching Dustin Martin, Lee, is you know that all the St Kilda players know what he's about to do to them. They prepare themselves and still can't manage to contain him.
Yeah, no, you know he's the strong arm, but you've actually got to be able to grab the arm if you can. Easier said than done, that big forearm, straight arm push.
Little up and under. Floston gets a little bit of protection from Asprey. So the sun is out for the moment, particularly at the punt road end, bathed in sunshine, city end in the shade. But the clouds are starting to roll in. Castagna, front spot. Sinclair got a fist onto it. Lambert was brilliant, spun out of trouble, gave it off to Nankervis. Now to Hooley. Through the middle of the MCG. Riewoldt in the circles. Sees a man that's got a bit of pace. Edwards runs. Nunes chases. Butler just knocks his man off the line. Edwards back to Grigg. Measures things up. Richmond looking for another. They're looking for their fourth. Offline, Grigg.
Gee, they're dangerous up halfback, aren't they, Richmond, when they come? because they've got plenty of agility in their forward line. There's a lot of movement ahead of them, and they're just really cutting up the St Kilda defence at the moment. The chase from the St Kilda forwards is just not good enough at present.
Hold.
Good shot of the northern stands.
Hold there.
Here at the G. Ball in hand with Ross.
Moving on. Play on. You.
And that's going to do well to stay in. I think the mark will be paid to Akers. It is. Akers looking short to Gresham. Ignores that.
Play on.
5 minutes remaining in the quarter. Could have been a good start from the Tigers. Riewoldt. Good grab.
Say that, Braden. Thank you. Move on. Play on.
He gives the players a chance to move forward to the footy. Stevens to Stephen. A little bit of a fumble, and Cotchin was all over him, right in front of the Tiger bench.
Yeah.
Good grab.
Who's up?
Sure hands, just got the small part of the ball.
No one's ever taken more marks in the game than Nick Riewoldt, so his final outing.
Holding St Kilda. Akers.
Bit of light rain falling now, Sully.
Yeah, it is, BT. It's just starting to drizzle slightly, and it's almost an Independence Day type storm cloud coming over the southern stand there from where I'm sitting.
Not sure what any of that means, but sounds like it's going to get wet at the MCG. Castagna beaten to it by Akers, couldn't control it. Castagna, and well, Ellis was there to stop Akers going anywhere. 3-goal lead to Richmond. First goal of the afternoon to Townsend. Grigg got the next. Townsend got the third. Dunstan's kicked a couple of behinds for the Saints. Bouncing ball off the Riewoldt kick. Floston. He and Rance work it out well together. And back to the wing it flies. Rioli went at the football. Webster just was flat-footed. Ross ends up with the football. Back to Brown. Ross will get it again. Little kick. Good enough for Riewoldt. Measured it well.
Hold there.
Riewoldt. And Curver's going to get in the way of this one early.
St Kilda.
So rain getting heavier now at the MCG. It'll only be a passing shower. It's not going to be here for the day. Akers backwards to Ross. Had a little bit of trouble finding it. Weller just in the nick of time. Now Stephen. Good purchase as he advances the ball forward. Out the back. Loney to Gresham. Gresham can go all the way. He bent it, but he got it. So Gresham gets the first. The rain falls. And just 3 minutes remaining in the quarter.
Well, quickly around the grounds, we've been keeping you updated. Final score 107-92. Jobe Watson, having been through so much, his Bombers, they're playing finals again, 15-point winners.
It's 1 goal from 11 inside 50 entries for St Kilda. Their big forwards got hold of Richmond in round 16 when they won easily, but not so far today.
Just wonder how far Dyson Heppel can lead the Bombers in the finals this year. Remarkable, thinking the year they had last year, that they are in the 8. That is set and done. Can the Tigers end up in the top 4? Nankervis at full stretch, got hold of the football, bouncing, slippery football. Riewoldt caught between a few Saints. Quickly has another crack at it. Butler clever by foot, knocked in his direction. Webster had to be clean, but McIntosh has it kicked in his direction, and he is almost, you would think, within range. Will kick from about 50.
And that Fremantle Essendon result, the effect on this game home is that St Kilda now have to win by in excess of 20 goals or thereabouts for them, so it's effectively shut them out.
So 15-point winners, the Bombers at Etihad. Dustin Martin, an afternoon to collect another Brownlow vote or 2 or 3 perhaps. From about 53, he's timed it perfectly. He's flushed it. Tigers get their 4th. Dusty gets his first. We saw last weekend Paddy Dangerfield kick a ball from about 55 against the Pies, and he didn't look like he kicked it.
Well, he was further out than Lambert, actually, only a slightly better angle, but Lambert feed it off, and he's a good, powerful kick. Goal-kicking mid, big, powerful goal-kicking mid, gets his couple of goals average, a lot of the ball around the middle.
You're right, he did flush that from outside 50. Nice kick, and I'm telling you now, this is why the Tigers are a threat in September. If they can get rolling, the roar just then from the Martin goal was unbelievable, and they can really start to generate some momentum, the Tigers, like no other side in the competition. Their supporters are so desperate to be involved, and so are their players. Alice. Martin, Sinclair was able to take it away. Not much to kick to in a long sense. Riewoldt was coming at him, but Grimes made him run out of ground.
This side, mate.
Jack Sinclair, game 44 for him. Played the 17 games this year. Blanketing rain here now at the G. Longer to Dunstan. Weller, Sharp, Ross. Savage now. Have a look at that. The rain is incredible. Won't be here long. Gresham.
Move it on.
Told to go, he does. Searching at half forward. Stagnant St Kilda half forward line. Grimes goes to work.
Just again thinking of Dustin Martin. You've got a 95-kilo opponent trying to tackle you.
It's like a bull. It's like trying to grab a bull, isn't it, really?
And he
so
stands
powerful.
up in the tackle.
Yeah, so powerful. And it's not only the bulk, it's the speed. That gives the momentum and the power that's so hard to stop.
Savage just took a little bit too much off it and fell short. Hooley, an easy kill. Ends up with a youngster who debuted last week and got going with 11 tackles in Jack Graham. Martin, not a clean kick, but ends up okay to Lambert and then Rance. He kicked one last week as well. Might get it back in the end from Lambert. Does. Or keep his off. Lambert, little kick around the corner, and now it's Edwards. Long ball inside 50. Townsend's got a couple. Almost gets a second grab. Riewoldt involved as well. Townsend got Brown and Carlisle. Carlisle's got his leg in the end of the tackle.
It's interesting then how Townsend engaged the body of Carlisle, which I think is good tactics. If you reach for the ball, Carlisle might be too tall, but he got his body into Carlisle and then forced the ball to the ground.
Great shot at ground level there. Longer. Riewoldt high. Savage. Butler goes to ground. Carlisle now. Townsend there with him. Sinclair to tidy up here. Good first quarter from the Tigers. They lead it by 3 straight goals here. Bit of rain to finish the quarter, but that'll be gone by the time we start the next. And Richmond in control, that man there, showing his stuff as well. 4-2-26 lead the Saints, 1-2-8.
50s to Richmond 16. Saints forwards need to lock it in. Just quickly, Jaron Geary went down into the rooms during that quarter-time break and didn't join them at all, so I'll keep an eye on him. He's looking unlikely to join the Saints for the rest of the day.
Big news there, the skipper in some trouble for the Saints. Keep an eye on that, Sully. Update as soon as you know what's going on there. Junior at ground level, Townsend. Mark-off it was on the bottom of that. Now Martin with a little socker towards Riewoldt, trying to keep it rolling towards Townsend. Carlisle with a creative style handball. Webster going backwards and putting Robin and himself under pressure in the end. It's out of bounds. We'll have a throw in.
Mightn't take a lot of big marks in the forward line, Richmond, but gee, that defensive pressure to lock it in is outstanding, isn't it?
Can you win a final series? I'll come back to you on that, Lee, just after this throw in on that type of forward line. Be interesting, you know, longer off hands here. Quick ball out from Presti was electric. Edwards around the corner, pulls it back and misses. What do you think, Lee?
Yeah, that point of they haven't got the big, powerful forward. Riewoldt's pretty good. Townsend might be the second banana down there, but a lot of speed and agility. Well, it's working for them. There's not too many teams that have probably won premierships with that kind of setup over the decades, but maybe this is the first time.
He does it again, Dustin. It's unbelievable how easy he's making a difficult game look at the moment. It's a half forward, bouncing ball. Grigg, he wants another. He's got 2. Tigers have got 5. It is a bit of a mosquito fleet, isn't it? I mean, they've added Castagna and Butler, Townsend in recent times. Riewoldt's always been there. Nankervis can bob up and kick goals. It's not, you know, a forward line like Kennedy and Darling at the West Coast.
It's a spread the load forward line, isn't it? Yeah, 2 or 3 out of a number, not big numbers out of one. Geez, but impressed how they've jumped into the game, Richmond. They beat Fremantle by 100 points last week. Sometimes you're just not ready for a real contest a week after that kind of win, but they've conquered that challenge, and now they've got St Kilda on the ropes a bit.
Well, St Kilda haven't had a bad loss really all year. I mean, they lost to Essendon by 61. I think that's their biggest margin in terms of losses, but they just want to be a little bit careful here, pressed here, because this Tiger machine is just winding itself up into a mini frenzy. Grigg looking for Edwards. Riewoldt trying to pick it up Gaelic style. Jack Stephen just got rid of it in the nick of time. Billings has it all to do at half-back. Go over the top, and he does to Ross. A little bit of sunshine left on that southern wing. High ball to Bruce, went early. Allowed Membry out the back. He goes inside looking for Sinclair. A little bit of a fumble on that occasion from Loney. Scrapping at ground level, Broad. Just knew he had to knock it clear, otherwise he would have been pinged as well. And Tigers fighting hard here. The Saints can't quite win enough of it. Broad with an unusual little kick. Edwards, bit of a fresh airy. Roberton. Finally someone tidies it up. Pressy to Grigg. And Grigg very, very wide. Can Riewoldt keep it alive? Brown did well. And the second time, handball was great. Prestia looking for someone to give it to. Long ball, Butler over the top. Maybe a little push on Savage. Umpire said it was okay. Here's Townsend round the corner. Martin again. There it is, there it is, there it is. The stiff arm again. Little ball, and Prestia. Surely this time he's got to have a ping, and he does. And he slides and slithers it through. Took a bit of work, but they got it there. Very unselfish player, this man, Dion Prestia.
There was a lot of unselfish plays within that, wasn't there? Yeah. Martin didn't blaze away, neither did Townsend. Happy to work it in the direction of a player that might be in a better position, sort of Geelong-esque in their heyday.
Yep. Set
it up rather than kick it.
Only his 4th goal year for the Prestia. Probably something more he can add to his game.
You said before about can a ground level forward line win a premiership? Well, I guess to a large degree that's what the Bulldogs did last year. It's the ground level pressure, the ability to win the contest at ground level. Richmond are excelling at that.
So they skip out to a 31-point lead, and here's Riewoldt. You'll have to kick it 53 or 4. City end of the MCG. One final outing. Just works it in the direction of Sinclair and Nunes, but taken easily by Markov. So to Floston he goes by hand. Onto the left boot. Townsend goes with Carlisle. Edwards might get back to Townsend. Does. Bouncing ball. Just had it skip by him in the end. And then Weller went over the top. Wanted a man to be there. Nunes was there, but the boundary line was
off Nunes' boot, I think. Out of bounds from the full was the call.
Yeah, it's right too.
So we can see Jaron Geary in the back of the box there with a jacket on. From the heavy collision in the first quarter, we can see Richo coaching from the boundary line again for the second time, as he did last week as well.
So Geary's season comes to an early end. So Billy Longer didn't play the first month of footy, jumped into this side in round 5. Missed one with a hamstring since, but he's been serviceable all year. Nankervis, what a rejuvenation in a career, and wanted really the last 2 years by the Sydney Swans. Hasn't missed a beat this year.
There's no one on the mark. He should get his
why is the umpire telling him to go back? He would have kept going.
He was keen to creep, wasn't he?
Wait for someone to come to the mark. Don't have to do that.
So just back to Nankervis, 12 games. He's on the Swans list for 3 years, and this year he's only missed the one home and away game. Floating ball inside the 50. In the end, Brown at the back, got hold of the football, gets a bit of support. Rioli chases Robertson.
Oh, just got clear.
Just going to come back though, Rance.
Makes defenders nervous when they get picked up from behind once or twice. That makes the rest of them very nervous for the rest of the game.
Rioli's hurt himself in tackling as well. He's not good.
Might have got a boot, I think.
Oh, in the stomach by the look of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Riolis have a habit of doing that, making defenders feel nervous.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, that closing speed.
Is that a little ribby there? Accidental back of the shoe and the ribs, I don't know.
Probably did. He might have just got winded a little. That would be the hope. Looks like he's okay.
Well, 6 last week. He's got 3 this week. Good luck getting rid of him in this Richmond side. Just his 2nd game of the season. Comes in last week, performs his role, kicks 6. He's got 3, and we played 7 minutes of the 2nd term. Just bearing in mind just the 28 games for the Giants over 4 years. Skipped over to punt road last year. Just the 4 games last year. 2nd this year, but he's in good form, in the side at the right time.
3rd goal to Townsend. He's probably replaced Josh Caddy when he got injured. That kind of medium tall, just to balance up Riewoldt. And he's done a good job.
It's such a good job, Lee, that I've got to ask the question. I wonder what happens when Caddy's available. We'll get an answer to that shortly. Greg from the middle wanting to go sideways. Brandon Ellis there. He's wanting to go deeper and longer. A real long high ball, and Robertson was under it, couldn't reel it in. Butler looking dangerous. Billings back to Robertson. Left foot of Robertson around the boundary line. What do you think, Lee?
Well, it doesn't have to be him for Caddy, but that's probably the one forward slot at the moment. And I think Caddy will still be in there 22. But it's hard to think he's going to replace Townsend 1-for-1 just when he's had such a good 5 quarters of footy.
Unbelievable position to be in. Josh Caddy, the only player really not able to be considered at the moment, and he's likely to play first week of the finals. Riewoldt has a look at his first. It's a healthy list.
This is the easy one. Come at the kicker. Very hard to spoil from behind these days because you can't chop arms, can't do too much body contact. So as long as it's a nice low kick, very, very hard to spoil from behind.
So trying to make it 5 in a row for Richmond. Kick the last of the first 3 of the second. That easy, methodical approach results in a major. Riewoldt's 48th for the year. So Riewoldt has been really the go-to man for so long, but he's getting a lot of support in 2017 from a number of sources. They've got 8, and they've played 9 minutes of the 2nd term, and Jack's just got the 1. Good signs.
It's his first goal today. He's not the go-to player anymore. He's the most likely to take a big mark in their forward line, but they do spread it around. Blood rule.
Yeah, blood rule. Yeah, Jack Riewoldt. Jack, you could see when he was just let go of that footy to kick it, he was urging it to go right. He knew he had a little left to right tail on it, and he just wanted to make sure it was going to bend.
But they've become a much better team when he hasn't been the go-to. Remember, for a year or two, they said, why isn't he being played as the main deep forward? He was always getting up, and I think he's still doing that. It doesn't look to me like he's just playing as the central forward. We kick it to him all the time. They kick it to anyone who's on in their forward group.
See that? He was having a chat to Nathan Brown as he's coming off. He's his direct opponent, mate. Well, why are you following me everywhere? Why don't you stay on, get your own kick? Not sure he's...
Now, they haven't got a second ruckman, so Greg is just going to get his body in and around the contest while Nankervis has a bit of a spell in the forward line.
Cochin, Stephen, Riewoldt. difficult ball to pick up. Eventually got rid of it. Loney very, very quickly indeed. And now Lambert with the ball out wide. Couldn't be nudged under it. Edwards was a nice mark to hold his position. Looking for the long running handball to Martin. Martin just forward to the wing, hammers it. Forward 50 bound. Here come the Tigers. Well across the face. Did well. The tackle from Nankervis. Excellent. Forces the turnover. Straightening ball. Greg Longer. Big fist.
It is an Achilles heel, that. I mean, to play one ruckman means you've got a lot more mobility because you don't have to have a second guy. Because you wouldn't want Nankervis to get injured early in the game. Then you'd be in trouble.
Akers goes in the Membry direction. Bit of support from Riewoldt, but as he said, his agility to get back to the contest, not what it once was.
Not many teams are actually game enough just to play one ruckman and not have someone else who can do the job. I mean, Greg here, he's just going to be pushing into Longer, just trying to make sure that Longer can't do just anything he wants with the foot. He did it well then.
Little give, didn't find his man. Markov, he finds his man. He finds the man right now, Dustin Martin. Look at that kick. Take a pick. Ellis or McIntosh? Ellis has got to be quick. Knew his man was there in Hooley. Going to get it back here, Ellis. Going to be quick. Is clever enough. Little one over the top. Now to Graham. Inside 50. Clever ball to Castagna. Couldn't hold on to it. Nunes tackled immediately. Ball spilt. Graham, just a teenager, but built like a man.
It's amazing the confidence the Richmond players have actually built up in Martin. If Martin's there and you can give him the ball, you just give it to him and let him negotiate the next phase of the play.
And the confidence all over. That's what I mean about the momentum role for the Tigers. You can just see it, Lee. It's just growing. It's just extraordinary to watch here at the moment. There's Alice. Bruce dealing with him. Grimes there in support. Rance. Billings to Ross. Now Riewoldt. Didn't get a crack at it. Broad at the back door, read it nicely. Now let's see if they can be effective with this switch here, how quickly they can get it in motion. Ellis glances and sees a little one to Martin, and here's the man to speak of. Martin he must just feel like Superman at the moment.
Would they let him wear a cape in finals?
Possibly.
So 19 possessions already. Middle, he's getting a few of them across the half-back line. The most dangerous possessions of him are centre forward.
We know how brilliant he's been, Lee, but after Dustin Martin, it's such an even performance from Richmond at the moment throughout the year. Not always their strong suit, but if they contain St Kilda to under 48 points, they finish the year as the most miserly side, the #1 defence in the league. Rance cleverly to Lambert, hurriedly forward, might fall, it does. So here's a chance for Graham to kick his second career goal. Debuted against the Dockers, got one late. Young South Australian emerging at the right time.
15 gone.
Slight zoning approach all defences have. They don't play body to body, so who reads the ball best marks it.
11 tackles and a goal last week. Got one this week too. Richmond have got 9. And the margin is 50 points. As they say, sometimes in a sporting contest, it can get late early. And right now, St Kilda are in danger of being blown off the park. 9-4 to 1-2. 15 gone in the second term.
Another darkish cloud hovering around the G, lights ablaze. Good crowd in. Watching a methodical Tigers outfit that has now kicked 6 in a row. Stephen to Savage. Winds up and goes to the one-on-one. Riewoldt and Asprey never got a chance at it in the end. Third man picked it off in Rance. McIntosh now. Nankervis back inside if he wants, and he does. Look at this, the ruckman turning around, just getting things mixed up with capabilities there a little. Now offhand Steele to Dunstan, turns on his familiar left, and a good ball. And Billings, who's not the straightest shooter in town, 21 goals, 34 this year for him. Of all of those that have had more than 20 shots at goal, he is, I don't like to say it, but the least accurate.
Yes, he's got left foot to the boundary line here too, so not the preferred side of the ground for the left footer. See if he can keep it on line.
Give him plenty of raps home, so not so bad to just have one little negative there. That's across the face. So he's got something to work on over the summer.
It's the chink in the armour, isn't it?
Yep.
So Richmond playing with an enormous amount of confidence and speed and dash at the moment. 9-4 to 1 goal 3. 49-point leaders. Ellis happy just to kick to himself, then buy some distance. Martin involved in it all. There were 3 Saints around him. He stood his ground. The ball just fell in his lap. Might get it again here. Dunstan crashed at the football. Steele too. The one out the back for Akers. McIntosh couldn't pin him down. Dunstan threads it back to Akers. Always under pressure, the white jumpers. Gresham got Nankervis chasing. Gresham, he's hit it perfectly. Saints get their second. And Gresham, he gets his second. Good sign when you've got a ruckman chasing at full speed at halfback, chasing a small forward.
Shows the intent, doesn't it? The intent of the whole team to get after the opposition when they got the ball in hands. When Nankervis was the chaser, and he got a hand on Gresham, but Gresham was still good enough to kick accurately, even under that pressure.
Straight back.
Been trouble cracking the Richmond defence. They've been inside 50 18 times, which is pretty good, but only the second goal because the Richmond defence has been so strong, it just has continually rebounded.
Bruce into the ruck against Nankervis. Gives a comfortable win for Nankervis. Steele, intelligent. Jack Stevens, a tumbler. Ashbury, a bit of a task, and he and Rance combine well. And we heard the umpire touch play on.
Billy. Oh, sorry. Josh. Toby.
Saints have won 2 of their last 3 games.
Hold the meter.
They've got some sort of form with them at the moment, but the Tigers today just making them look a long way off the 8. Prestia. Savage. McIntosh couldn't mark. Brandon Ellis will want one around the back. Here's Hooley, and here comes Ellis now. Flostone can get this away. Good tackle by Gresham. Hooley goes in low. Ashbury lines the footy up. McIntosh went without it. Jack Stephen rips it away. Little purchase on the footy. Good ball now as Gresham marks.
Clear it out, please. Dylan. Dylan.
So Gresham has
10 metres. 10.
kicked both of St Kilda's goals.
There we go.
And here he is lining up
15 gone.
for the 3rd.
Clear it out.
Jake Gresham. From a reasonably comfortable 50 metres for him. Low and hard. 3 goals, Gresham. Cleared the pack. 3 goals, St Kilda.
3 goals, Jade Gresham. So got out to 50. They've got the last 2, the Saints. Things not quite as dire as they were 4 or 5 minutes ago. Jade Gresham right now looking like the only avenue.
Certainly say St Kilda needed to just start reducing the margin that Richmond's had. Gresham 3 shots for 3 goals. Doesn't look like he's got the running power to be a midfielder at this point of his career, so he has to be able to do this kind of forward 6 hard work.
Here come the Tigers again. Bullet ball. Riewoldt dropped it. Carlisle gets a second chance. Just threw it wide to Markov. Seb Ross, clever in the end, worked it towards the boundary line. Didn't go over. Back to Weller, and he gets taken over in the push. Jack Graham, I think, was the man that worked it into Riewoldt's hands.
Thanks, Josh. Make sure you hold that meter.
So 6 goals in a row to the Tigers and the last 2 to the Saints. 50-point margin back to 37.
Interesting match up there. Dustin Martin in the square with Nathan Brown.
So Martin resting at full forward. Stephen had to deal with Cochin and Prestia. Seb Ross on his right boot. Sends it into the second row.
Kane, yours.
Rioli not long on for the Tigers after the initial knock to the ribs. You still see some lacerations there when he's pulling his shirt up from the boundary line. He seems to be okay.
It is nice to see the best players, the Martin, Dangerfield, that don't just come off the ground automatically now. They go and play deep forward for minutes.
It's good, isn't it?
Yep.
Akers flew at the ball, heard the umpire though. Loney, little slap, wanted Stephen. He just pushed it forward. Ellis was waiting for that ball. Steele, little tackle. Nunes sent it towards Stephen.
Reckon with the 90 interchanges we've got at the moment, Lee, and I really like the idea that Martin can go back and play as a forward and to keep these guys on the ground. If we'll just further reduce that, we wouldn't have to touch the game and do zones or anything like that. Just reduce it back to 40 or 50, and all of a sudden guys like Martin will be doing that a lot more often. Rance, clever. Grimes to Floston. Floston is blossoming as that last line of defender as well. Ellis just knocking up, getting the footy here today. 15 touches for him already. Finds Asprey.
Just on that player resting at full forward, it was almost one of the moments of the season. Dangerfield doing it.
Yeah, on this ground.
Yep.
Not that long ago. Won the game for the Cats. Prestia in a bit of trouble here. Stevens just charges him with a ripping tackle. Bang. Gave him no time at all.
So if you've just tuned in, Gresham's got all 3 goals for the Saints and they've got the last 2. He's involved there twice. Nankervis takes Gresham in the tackle. Ball lodged between the 2.
He's good, Nankervis. He's an aggressive ruckman, like gets after the opposition at ground level as well. He's been a really good pickup for the Richmond Tigers.
He's a bit symbolic right now of Richmond. He's one of the Richmond footballers that's never played better footy.
Yeah.
A few of them doing that.
A lot of them doing it.
Billings, kick had to be good, found Sinclair. Gets it again, Billings. Weller put Seb Ross under immediate pressure. Butler was just waiting for the ball to hit his chest. Have a look at this. Here goes the big man on campus. Dustin Martin sends it to Edwards. Picked him off. Butler got a couple of runners. Rioli back on the ground. Rioli looks about, can't give it off, so
missed
has a shot and misses to the left.
Too many things going through his mind, I think. He was saying, should I need to bounce it or can I go a bit further?
He was thinking about giving it to Butler at one stage. It was behind him. Dimmer shakes his head and just says, mate, probably thinking to himself, Hardwick there, just kick the goal. Do it simply.
Sometimes you don't appreciate how much work and how much running they've done in the previous phase. So there's also a bit of lactic acid in the legs as well.
4.5 minutes remaining. Jake Carlisle goes down the interchange side of the ground. Ranch with a crushing spoil. Fast hands from Steele to Billings. And Gresham tried to take him on. Got dealt a bit of medicine. The advantage is paid here over the head of Savage. Here comes Riewoldt. Cochin to Rioli again. Rioli poked it out the side door. Cochin to finish it. Advantage paid. He kicks the goal. The Tiger fans are up and about. Fans just loving it. Cochin's first of the day. And I'm telling you now, these Tiger fans, they don't need much of an excuse to enjoy the footy. They are lapping this up. Loving it.
That's the end of the phase of play, but the ball was kicked in. It's just a contest in the air. They don't really look like taking a contested overhead mark, Richmond, but they keep bringing the ball to ground and then they just swoop on it.
So one season coming to an end, another about to begin in earnest. Richmond looking like a side that could match it with anyone right now. 10 goals, and we've played just 25 in the second term. Still got 3.5 to play. Prestia to Grimes. Here they come again. Hooley just waited long enough. Markov has the speed. Gets away from Weller. Hard for Castagna in the end, but got the second crack at it. Got the footy and Seb Ross pinged him.
Stood up, tackled.
So Cotchin kicks the last. Martin, he's been prolific. The 18th time he's had at least 20 and kicked a goal this season alone. Not even half time. Fair to say, feels like he's playing his best footy. He can do just about anything. Floston, time to gather. Give over the top to Grigg. Just for the record, the player that's done it most, at least 20 and 1 goal in a season, 21 times in 1977. Lee Matthews. And Curvis kept it in. Fed it a long way down the line, but probably by design. Didn't keep it in. 2.5 to play in the first half, and it's the Tigers by 44.
We know it's for promotional reason the umpires are in the pale blue, but any team that's got the lightest colours, say St Kilda got the lightest looking colours today, you just see from a distance they just look like it's hard to differentiate. So I don't think they'll be wearing that colour again.
No, I think it's associated with the one site OPSM charity this weekend. Here's Akers. Slides his kick down the line. Finds Dunstan. He's a left footer, so this won't pose any issue for him. Bruce closing in on Rance. Rance doing extra well in front.
He's always the central point of the defence, and yeah, Memory and Bruce and Riewoldt, they kicked 10 goals in their win in round 16, but today no overhead mucks marching in the St Kilda forward line against the Richmond defence.
Just a very slight clip with the shoulder there. Bruce okay though, not feeling the effects. Probably looking for the free more than anything.
I think it is. It's a high bump, but so incidental contact. I think that's exactly where that particular incident would sit.
So a chance here for the Saints.
Time in forward half there, home 60%. That's a lot of footy.
St Kilda. He's something in front of the ball. And the ball just dropped. He's around my neck. Have a look.
That's the non-ruckman.
I think you're trying to protect his run. Around my neck.
The non-ruckman trying to push in. See Greg here pushing into Longer, trying to keep him away from the footy. And I reckon that's play on, but anyway, the umpires. Ruck work umpiring decisions I look at and just see what the umpire's doing, because I'm never sure what's going to happen.
All he was doing was holding his position, waiting for the ball to come down.
He didn't allow longer access to the ball. That's what the umpire's adjudication is.
Might as well give it to him.
Yeah.
Billy brings up the Saints' fourth, his first.
I think that's a situation where the umpires almost know there's a non-ruckman competing against a recognised ruckman. And all he's trying to do is make sure that Longer can't get good access to the footy, and therefore in that body sort of pushing and shoving, the ruckman, I guess, trying to get his hand to the footy was the one who I guess was rewarded, heavily rewarded.
So Dusty's had a pretty good day, looking at those stats. Going up there more than anyone else on the ground. It's pretty simple. He's been explosive again. Maybe this particular game, who knows, might get the Brownlow done for him. Billings kick off the side of the boot.
Play on!
Mark off. Martin's ball smothered by Akers. Now Hooley to Grigg. He's on his right, left. High ball, here's Riewoldt at the back. Brown, the fist. Jimmy Webster coughs it up there to Robertson. Almost run down. Kick away, was under some pressure.
Still mine.
Edwards, McIntosh, and beautifully composed kick to Butler.
Hold them.
So 3 of the last 4 goals have gone the Saints' way. Just got rid of this. Rioli got a piece of his Dax.
Chases hard, doesn't he?
Yep.
He's got the speed and he chases hard. And as his stamina increases, as his career develops, he'll be running quicker for longer and more often.
So are you.
And Butler, one of those that's kicked in excess of 20, one of 5 players this year for the Tigers. He's got 24. So number 25 on offer. Good reward for his efforts in what Lee was just talking about, and he's nailed that. Right on the half-time siren. Butler kicks his first. the Tigers by 44, and there would be a couple of sides in the 8 just looking at this and going home. They're not bad.
They're very, very good. They are very good. Tigers 11-5, Saints 4-3, margins 44, was as big as 50, and Dustin Martin, he is on fire.
Winners, yeah.
And Drew Morford was the winners. Lee, you worked a lot with him.
I was a colleague of in the mid-90s with Channel 7. Actually, went horse riding, went down to his property one day. I fell off, almost killed myself. So that's one of my memories of the Cloverdale farm down at Pakenham, which Drew and Kaz have had for a long time.
And Brian, from a media standpoint, one of the most chirpy and welcoming guys.
Yeah, always a smile on his face. Everyone loved Drew.
Yep.
Everyone walked past Drew and said hello. That can't be said of everyone in the media.
And I had the VHS tape ready to go when Winners came on back in South Australia. Your only VFL fix.
It was huge in Western Australia, South Australia. The Winners on a Sunday. It was big time.
Straight up.
Start of the second half here. Tigers by 44. And if they continue to go the way they are, there is no doubt they are going to finish in the top 4.
Hold there. Hold.
Cotchin. Plenty of runners. Decides to go himself. Riewoldt's found a bit of space here.
Doesn't take a lot of marks, but he's taken before today 67 forward, 50 marks this season, which is the most of any player in the competition. So it's not as if he's taken the big grabs, but still been a really effective marking option in there.
It's funny when you've got the spread, you still got to do it at the same level, but you don't have to do as much, and it's not as dependent on you. It's the way it used to be with Jack, and now he's just got to do his bit because there are other contributors. That one offline longer.
Back here, please, Jack.
It was a bit of a one-man wolf pack for a long time, the Richmond forward line.
It was, absolutely, and that's what Lee's saying. The dependence on him now is just to do sort of 1/5 or 1/6 of it.
Dan Curvis getting better week by week. Finals around the corner, a week off, and then who knows how far this Richmond side can go. Riewoldt almost through fingertips. McIntosh couldn't get back onto it. Grigg got a boot to ball, won't go 15, or it will. Umpire says so. Carlisle clever, strong against Townsend, who kicked a couple in the opening term, one in the second. Has 3 for the afternoon, Townsend, after half a dozen last week. So where to for Nunes? Had a look inside and then happy just to go for territory. There's Riewoldt again, as he's done so many times for the Saints before today. So many marks behind him, so few, sadly, in front of him. Just punches it down the line. Asprey, again, one of these players having a career year. So McIntosh got a man all on his lonesome in Grimes.
Hold, stop now, play on.
Plenty of instruction in the end. Umpire Nichols just telling Jack Stephen where he could march to. Butler, it had to be good. The kick was only 15, had a bit of airtime about it, but into the hands safely of Lambert.
Put it on, play on.
The pack forms. Riewoldt amongst it at the back, ends up with a footy. Little give was good in the end to steal, and now out the back they go. Nunes to Membry, long way from where he normally resides. Runs a while and then kicks to Sinclair. Bounce important here. Asprey and Floston in the end just couldn't control him. Gresham gets around Floston, measures the kick inside, full stretch. Bruce.
You've got to work hard to get a kick. Bruce was over on the wing this side of the field, camera side of the field, and he's just, as they came out of defence, has to charge into the forward 50 just to get set to be an option. A lot of hard running involved, any part of the field.
There's hardly a moment where a St Kilda player doesn't have a yellow and black jumper coming at them, and often it's 2.
Play on.
Bruce, perfect. Curls it around. Saints get their 5th. So they got the first of the third, and as we said, it was a 50-point lead after Graham kicked the goal at the 15-minute mark of the second. Since then, 4 goals to the Saints, a couple to the Tigers.
Really good control here, aiming at the far post and just bending it back from that point. Josh Bruce, it was like shelling peas for him. Very, very simple for the modern day player. Umpire Chris Donlan in the middle, one of our best. And it's this time of the year where the umpires as well are positioning themselves to make sure they're in the games that matter. This man, not that man there, but that man there will be one of them, Chris Donlan. Matthew Nichols, another here, and Brendan Hosking. Ball forward. That's a hold on Carlisle from Townsend at the back. Matty Nichols spotting that one.
Play on!
Handball's off. Says to Nunes, go that way, and Nunes went the exact opposite way. Off the hands of Bruce. Low ball, Sinclair, Billings. They combine again. Clever handball to Savage. Looks for the inside runner, and Bruce needs to keep it working forward. Here comes the troops with the Tigers. Don't go to ground, the Tigers. They keep their feet. Good example of that there. Hovering over the ball, looking for an opportunity to knock it out. Been a really important ingredient, Nankervis-Lee, hasn't he, in this Richmond lineup with, you know, their depletion in that area. Broad. Missed McIntosh. Riewoldt didn't make contact.
Advantage.
There goes the Tiger machine. They spread and they run, and here's a little one from Prestia. That was the wrong decision made by Prestia then. Should have gone the longer, heavier ball. Nunes to Carlisle.
They're just swarming Richmond at the moment. When the Saints have the ball, they attack, and when they've got the ball, they spread. There are about 4 or 5 Tigers just running next to each other there. Sinclair, handballs, buys about 20 metres. Billings to Loney, the only change for the Saints this week. And the one over the top, heard the umpire, touch play on. Akers. Well, Nunes has got a couple to choose from. Over the top, Bruce. Well, desperate was Grimes. Got a fist in there. Now Bruce under pressure again. Again, it's the Tigers with the numbers around the ball. Martin, got a couple to choose from. Grimes. Ellis missed him. Saints come back with numbers. Here's a chance. Loney tries to squeeze it through, but when the Tigers go forward, it seems to be with structure. When the Saints go forward, it's so desperate.
As you pointed out, there was about 5 Richmond players after the St Kilda player back 50, but when the ball went into St Kilda's forward line, they had 4 spares, but they missed them all.
What about Nick? Oh, Grandpa Nick getting a little bit dirty on the treatment he got there, and why not?
One last scuffle.
Yep. Didn't appreciate that. He said, this is me farewell game, mate. You've got to just go easy.
Nathan Broad saying, I'm trying to make a name for myself. He goes, don't make it against me.
Nathan Broad playing his 9th game. Nick Riewoldt his 336th game. Prestia, both at opposite ends of the spectrum. Interesting when you look at it like that. Free kick St Kilda here.
Time back on, hold there.
Stevens for the Saints. Looks around, nothing behind, so he has to go forward. Bruce setting himself here for a bit of a fly. Got bumped off the footy. Might get a free. Might get a free here, Josh Bruce. He was trying to get a jump at it. Let's have a look. And Broad.
It's subtle. It was well done by Broad, but he knew exactly what he's doing, I suspect, just to try and stop the run of Bruce. But the umpire didn't give him much leniency at all. Plenty of players have done that and got away with it. But
and his last kick, Lee, look, this one's only 5 or 10 metres further out, and he's saying, no, I'll go the drop punt from here. Almost identical angle to the last one where he turned sideways and kicked it. Right behind him. Richmond fans at the punt road end enjoying that.
Made far better contact to run across the body than he did the drop punt with the pointy end of the footy.
In that dominant round 16 Saturday night clash, he was inaccurate there. 2 goals, 5 Josh Bruce that night. Nankervis Just missed the one this year for the Tigers. That was with suspension. Stephen. The singular. Stevens, Kobe, just on his shoulder. Longer, finds Stephen, then Steele just goes and picks up what Stephen left behind. Riewoldt gains about 35. Ball skips over.
It looks like Nick Riewoldt is pushing upfield. He's not waiting back in the forward 50s. He might even be playing wing. It's hard to tell. But he's certainly pushing well out of the forward 50.
In the end, Lambert sort of lurks about the place. Nankervis gets down and dirty. Just on Riewoldt, I mean, it is a game that ekes out the weak and only the fittest and strongest survive. He hasn't just survived, he's prospered. 336 games, 34, but he said he can't do it unless he can do it brilliantly, and he feels like his body's calling time, not his mind.
It was a great interview, actually, at half-time when your brother Gillen, the CEO, has become interviewer.
Which is biggest
But he was
fan.
talking about his anxiety, and that's what all competitors have to put up with, the anxiety, the pre-game anxiety that everyone feels to some degree. To get the euphoria post-game if you can win. That was what he was talking about.
Carlisle maybe manhandled Townsend in the end. Townsend ends up with a football. Riewoldt the tackler, took him to ground, didn't ping him. Carlisle, back they go, the Saints. Nunes got a bit of support through the middle. Stevens to Webster. A couple of Tigers coming at him, but works his way through, backs himself, then Broad, who was tussling with Riewoldt moments ago, takes the grab at half-back.
Good medium-sized defender they found there as well, isn't it? Broad. There's Greg. Steele all over him. He's their best tackler in their forward end, Steele, and he does it again here. Forces the turnover. Gives another opportunity for the Saints, who are just owning a bit of time here in their forward half of the ground at the moment. Surging ball. Floston. Little fumble. Ellis to Rance. Got to thread the needle. That is such a dangerous kick. The two ruckmen go at it. In comes the opportunist in Townsend. And a solid tackle on him.
But that is the benefit of the harsher interpretation of delivered out of bounds. Rance knew that he couldn't kick it wide to space because he'd get pinged if it went out of bounds, so he had to take quite a dangerous option back in the centre corridor.
It's had a big effect on our game.
Yeah, it has.
In a positive way. Riewoldt. Castagna. If he gets rid of this tackler, he's away. Here he goes. The wheels line up. Couple of bounces being forced wide. Now the one-on-one with Edwards. Off hands. Exciting when they go forward, the Tigers. Saints are playing well here in the third quarter.
Ball brought in and Bruce finds himself at half-back. Lee, every time you see a Tiger with the ball, you sense they feel like they're just going to back themselves and go.
Got a lot of run, and they use it.
Gresham.
Out.
Couple of bounces, runs to about 55. He kicks it a long way. Membry goes back with a flight. What sort of an angle here?
It's an exciting game, isn't it? When any team can get up through the centre corridor and then they can run centrally. And it's just not leading at the kicker mostly. It's leading back into space. Good setup.
Membry 5 straight in that round 16 clash when St.Kilda were flawless, led by 82 at half-time. Richmond by 38 before the kick. Membry narrows the margin. Ten minutes to play, third term. Squeak over 5 goals, 32 points the margin. Membry gets his first. As BT said, the Saints have had the best of this term. 44-point lead. The Tigers at half-time. Back it comes, 32 only.
That's the end kick, but really it was the kick-in, the attacking kick-in that got up through the centre corridor just completely. He exposes any defence, and Richmond suffered that one.
Here's where they concede the ruck again with Grigg doing the ruck work. They've kicked 5 of the last 7 goals in this game, the Saints. They're on here. They're feeling it. And they're starting to get some reward. Steele, as always, the tackler. Nunes. High ball. Membry lurking at the back. Behind that, Riewoldt. And there's a hold on Loney. So this could be third consecutive goal. Get it back into the 20s. And the Tigers all of a sudden not comfortable.
Just the speed. McIntosh was just a bit concerned about Loney's speed. He's a left footer, so he'll be across the body for sure.
6 goals, 13 for the year. Not exactly perfect, but he's turned sideways and maybe a result of that stat. And that's better. Didn't get the height though. Grimes, he executed okay. But Grimes reading the lighter ball. So here's Broad.
Just backs himself, takes a few on, ran a little too fast. Sinclair was the tackler, got his man.
That was a late whistle.
Hits the ball about 30 metres. Stevens flies, marks Cotchin, read it better in the air. So this to make it 6 of the last 8 for the Saints.
Yeah, they're winning the ball. They're coming up with the contested ball wins. So got the Richmond defence under siege so far this third quarter.
Kobe Stevens, 6 for the year. This to make it 3 in a row for the Saints, and it draws to the left. A few let-offs in a term where they've been really positive. Bruce, Loney, now Stevens.
Man, frustration on the face of Damien Hardwick there. He knows he's let the Saints back in here. Cotchin, good grab.
Hold! Play on! Play on! Yours.
Gee, that's a funny little kick. That's going to allow Weller in big time. Grimes just rolls it down the boundary line. Interesting to see how the umpire interprets this. To me, he had no other choice there. Good decision by Chris Donlan.
And there was a teammate that was on the end of where the ball was directed, which is the critical factor in the umpire's thinking.
71%. Look at that time in forward half for the Saints in this quarter. So they've effectively owned it. They've only got 2 goals from it, though, in the 16 minutes we've been running.
So you've got 2 giant ruckmen actually competing at the moment, Akers and Grigg. Just longer is off the ground, so just at the moment you've got 2 6-footers.
Have a look at this go.
Well, I said we don't need ruckmen as long as you can let your 6-footers run for you.
If they start to win, Lee, they're done, the ruckman. Wouldn't let that happen too long. Here's Rance, stretching, pulverising the footy. Broad, turns sideways. Billings there to keep him honest. Tigers have got the numbers here. They should win it. A collision, though, with Rance. Markov tries to find his way through. Took him on, got hammered.
You know, you sort of look around the field, and Nankervis, the one ruckman, it's okay to fill in with Greg for 10 minutes or 5 minutes here and there, but if he got injured and was off the field, I guess you've got to look to Asprey or someone like that. So they'd be in trouble if Nankervis got injured early in the game.
Graham to Martin to Ellis to McIntosh, comes unstuck.
It exposes that, Lee, but it does it not also expose another team that has got 2 taller,
potentially,
a key position forward and ruckman?
Yeah, I think the other thing is, though, of course you don't need another ultra tall. It gives you an extra runner, and that's working beautifully for Richmond.
Nankervis to Martin to Prestia. Graham missed his man, wanted Markov, the 21-year-old, and just put him under pressure. So Graham just playing his second game. Markov, his 7th for the year, both desperate to hold their spot in this side that, well, they'll play Geelong if they can win, and that'll be here at the MCG, you would suspect, given the demand for tickets. Akers. In the end, Dunson and Weller combined, and Weller took a while. Dunson ends up with it, was quick in the end to Steele. They work the ball to half forward. Steele, where to next? Smothered by Floston. Terrific kick under pressure. In the end was Graham, and somehow found Nankervis. Nankervis, Riewoldt and Brown in front. Edwards, easy enough in the end, floated across. So confident, gave it off to Martin, got a couple of Tigers over the top. Martin draws his man in Nunes, now Riewoldt measures a kick to half forward, and That was pretty tidy. Everything but the mark. Gresham at halfback on the counter-attack. Great vision to Dunstan. Draws the man. Little one over the top to Weller.
Weller steps on the gas. Sees Bruce with space, and it's an excellent kick.
Gee, big half-back turnover. Broad. It was a sitter, really. There was a bit of opposition pressure, but he should have marked the ball. And as soon as it was fumbled on the half-back line, St Kilda were off.
15 gone.
That's what Richmond were doing for St Kilda in the first half, but now all of a sudden they're getting a bit of their own medicine back.
To make it 6 of the last 8 goals for the Saints and 3 in a row. Bruce has this kick. For his second goal, and he butchers it. And gee, Hayne, you were speaking about that Geelong, possibly the Geelong-Richmond game. You know, some people talking about Friday night here. Some people talking about Friday night down at Geelong. I mean, surely that game is too big for any small-time localised thinking. And surely even a Saturday afternoon, you know, that's a 95,000 plus opportunity, plus a ratings bonanza, plus the injection of electricity into our game as a result of that game. Has got to be played.
It's got to be played at the MCG. And when you think of it, the Etihad teams don't get to play at Etihad.
Yeah, good call.
So I think you can use that analogy that Geelong don't necessarily play home finals at Geelong, no matter who. Non-Melbourne teams, yeah.
You just can't imagine that final will be played anywhere else but here. Nunes under pressure, worked it around the line, and McIntosh stood tall.
Saturday afternoon would be interesting, though, wouldn't it? Draw a huge crowd. So would Friday night.
Imagine 90,000 here between those two sides. First week of finals. Richmond finishing in the top 4 for the first time since 01. Riewoldt has a look downtown, too far out. You would think, well, creeps a little closer, hits it a long way. He's hit it all the way. He's got every bit of it. Riewoldt, he's got his second. I thought he was too far out if he went back. He knew it probably too, and snuck a couple of metres, ran to the top of the arc, and just that little bit more comfortable now, the Tigers. A 6-goal lead after the Saints that own this term. A lot of ball inside the forward half, but not able to make the Tigers pay on the scoreboard.
Let's go around the grounds very, very quickly, and that's as a result of the West Coast. Now, they are up here, as you can see. That goal is enough. They are currently in the 8 as it stands with that goal. Back here at the G. There is the live ladder. Look at the percentage, 105.4, 105.2. Melbourne players will be sitting there at the moment wondering and pondering the opportunity they let go yesterday.
Hold there, that's your mark,
Ellis with the free.
Okay?
West Coast on the live ladder, currently in the 8. Floston to Broad. Broad looking for the lead down low there. Hooley to tidy up. Edwards now. Great handball by Edwards, back inside. Little ball here by Martin. Bruce, good tackle. Robertson, counter-attack. Webster can go over the top. Pointing out wide was Loney. He went a little straighter than Loney wanted it now. Rants.
Darts and weaves, and then brings it back towards the broadcast side. Bruce just got in front. Hooley gets called for the block. Happy to play on to Webster. Bullets the ball in Riewoldt's direction. Wouldn't it be nice to see him go back and kick a major one more time? Coming into today, Nick Riewoldt, 717 goals from his 335 matches. Not too many have done it better for longer than this man. Players have arrived and vanished. He has been a constant for St Kilda. He does. He goes back, and like he's done so many times before, he kicks a goal for his club.
They're just nipping at the heels now. Sort of the Riewoldt goal. Got the first goal for the quarter for Richmond. Just extended the margin, but 30 points, 5 goals. Still gettable. Big task, but still gettable.
Riewoldt kicks his 718th goal. Remarkable feat. Look at that. Third best. St Kilda had some wonderful goal kickers over the year. Here's Martin. They're within 30 points, the Saints here now. Carlisle to Webster. Riewoldt have kicked back-to-back goals here. One for the Tigers and one for the Saints. And here's the Saints species. Riewoldt, little hand, through traffic, Akers, says to Longer, go, 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 go! Jack Stevens waits for Akers to overlap. Good stuff by him. Akers, nice ball. Here come the Saints. Look at the runner on the outside. Opportunity for Billings to hammer it home, and he's got it! 24-point ball game. Billings kicks a beauty. And Damien Hardwick has gone off his food all of a sudden.
Let's just hold the reservation for the MCG between the Cats and the Tigers for the moment.
Yeah. 24 points.
All of a sudden they look the quicker team, got the run. Basically they've just stopped Richmond scoring. They've only got the one goal for the quarter. Richmond, St Kilda got their 4, so it's not as if the scoreboard is piling on for them, but they're just gradually nipping away and reducing the margin. I wonder if at half-time they became aware that their finals chances were gone. And I don't think it matters anyway. I mean, the Riewoldt issue, wanting to win the game, feel good at the end of the game, I think that's heaps motivation rather than necessarily the finals part of it.
So Jack Riewoldt now trying to press forward. Robertson off the ground. Has he given it too much?
Dan Butler.
He has.
Dan Butler. Just here.
Saints have kicked 7 of the last 10 goals. The margin was 50. Is 24. Butler, who's been sharp in front of goals this year, started the season with a couple against the Blues, has got 24 coming into this afternoon. Knocks it around the corner. It's floated across the face, so Butler can't add another next to his name. 1-2 for the afternoon. Margin is 25. Saints know that they're troubling the Tigers.
Will they ever? Carlisle. Noons.
Hold. Thanks,
Good
Jason.
player, Noons.
Play, Jason. 100.
Played 113 games now, not his best kick. Carlisle. To Akers. Alice. Martin, there's the wrap-around right arm, not the stiffy that he normally operates with. Hooley with a high footy. Jack Riewoldt charging in.
Good mark.
What a grab. Not paid. Umpire said no go. Jack will be furious. Look good. Weller. Billings. Steele. Ross. Just got rid of it. Just reckon the Tigers have all of a sudden found a little bit of their mojo. Rance goes up to Broad and says, go slow, go slow.
Riewoldt still fuming, runs at it again, not quite. Longer, got a little fingertip to it, falls dead underneath Jack.
This will be his chance.
It was a big leap, wasn't it?
I'm actually pretty sure of that.
Probably touched hands on the way over, but so often if you bring it down, the umpires say you've had it.
Pack mark, you've got to pay.
Yep.
Nankervis had it, lost it. Billings kicked an important goal moments ago. Sinclair tries to let the Saints run again. Savage, we know, kicks the ball a long way and has pace. Thumps the football to half forward. Membry, perfectly delivered. Where to next for St Kilda? 25-point game. Looking desperately for a white jumper. To a pack. Billings out the back. Rance right on the siren. So they came in trailing by 44, the Saints. They're going to go into the last term trailing by 25. Can they pull off one last win for St Nick? 12-7, 8-6. The last quarter not far away. 7 of 1% that they sit in the 8 by Melbourne
And it just
fans.
keeps going. It just keeps going as many decimal points as you need to get a winner.
As many as you need. Right now, Melbourne fans feel physically ill.
I'm told it's gone down to .01 now. Someone else scored.
Another point. Surely it's a remarkable end to a remarkable season.
Yeah, it really has been tight all the way through, and this, in all likelihood, will be Nick Riewoldt's last quarter of football. So I just hope that his teammates can get the ball in his hand and he can have a shot on goal. That being said, when the Saints are playing with such a freeness and abandon, and we know they can move the ball quickly, I'm an optimist, but who's not to say they can't get on the scoreboard quickly and challenge the Tigers here in the last quarter?
Well, it's only 25 points, Sully, so why not? They scored 4 goals to 1 in that third quarter, and a similar effort is going to be required here in the last.
They tried, Richmond started Dustin Martin on the back of the centre square. I just wonder why they're doing that rather than actually starting him in the centre square contest.
Stevens, high footy, here comes the memory. Riewoldt opportunity.
Grimes held his arm, going on against you.
Yeah, they've been good, those the big defenders for Richmond. They, apart from the Riewoldt goal, haven't been able to get amongst the goals a whole lot from marking opportunities in there. St Kilda big forwards.
Brandon Ellis, who kicked that, he's had another good game today. People tend to mark him hard. 24th possession for him. And you know, Haim and Lee, you don't give him a lot. Sawley doesn't give him a lot, but I reckon he is a gun. He's a star, Brandon Ellis.
You're going to gun.
Well, he's growing towards that lead, but a lot of people nail him for some reason. I don't know what it is.
He's okay.
He's valuable for the Tigers.
Valuable, go valuable.
He hasn't missed a game for a long time, over 100 in a row, isn't it?
Just keeps playing and keeps putting out good, consistent performance. And he's only young. Brandon Ellis. He's acquiring tattoos on a daily basis, 24 years of age. Ross at half-back here. Been St Kilda's best with 24 touches of the footy. Longer, knocked down, Martin. Look away, handball to the boy from Penny. McIntosh. A long footy inside 50, over the head of Townsend, kept alive by Riewoldt. Castagna running fast. Couldn't track it down. The ball was always offline, but it's a matter of whether he could run it down.
Interesting how the Richmond forwards, they mostly engage the body of the defender rather than leaping at the ball, which inevitably means that the ball comes to ground, and that's their strength. It works well.
Riewoldt, not quite. Clever by Cotchin, picked it up before it hit the deck, and then Riewoldt involved. Jack Riewoldt, Lambert went searching, and then he has to go and win it again because it all came unstuck. Jack Riewoldt went to ground. Dustin Martin tried to push Dunstan away. Jack Graham, the teenager, built like Martin. He's a bull as well. Now Savage beats Rioli to the football. Robertson, the sidestep was clever enough, and Nunes around the corner. Might come unstuck here. Jack Graham charges at the footy. Sinclair looks a little groggy. Off the ground, Webster poked it in the Billings direction. His kick misses the mark, finds Grimes.
Grimes can go sideways, ignores that and goes with a little bit of traction down the ground and finds an opportunity with Jack Graham. 11 tackles on debut last week.
They're really, with that really good forward pressure, Richmond, the Richmond defence can actually play aggressive front position. They expect a quick kick out.
Off hands, the Saints, Robertson with Webster right on the boundary line. High footy knocked away. Dunstan's got to stand and wait, allowed Grimes to come through, destroy it. The inside out bender. Dusty, the stiff arm Martin.
That is unbelievable.
What a kick. Didn't have time, a lot of time to put it in the banana position.
Yeah. He's a good left foot kick, but he just decided that he actually thought he'd be more confident with the banana off the outside of the right foot and made a good decision because it was a beautiful, accurate kick. Look at that, the power to burst into space. Not a lot of time, couple of steps.
Oh, that's unreal.
Banana off the outside of the right foot.
And gone back into the middle now, Lee, not off the back of the square.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the back of the square might have been to sort out the matchups, but I think he's a good centre square player. I'd want him in there.
He's unbelievable at the moment, so full of confidence. I reckon if you said go and find the Loch Ness Monster, he'd probably be able to do it. Nothing he can't do at the moment. He's had a season to savour, but it won't mean much to him without a few finals wins. Cochin will be leading them into finals. Here's Dusty. Going to take them on, going to take them all on. Takes a bounce inside of the boot. Finds his man. He could find a needle in a haystack. He put that exactly where he wanted to put it.
Yeah, the power, the speed. There's not too many have just got his bulk about. Look at the Richmond supporters. They're on their feet applauding their hero.
They're trying to get him to stay, Lee.
He is playing freakish football. And this man, Jacob Townsend, playing just his second game for the year. 6-1 last week in the West. 4 straight this afternoon. Jacob Townsend has made a real fist of his opportunity. Been cruising around in the VFL, 4 games only last year when he arrived at Punt Road after 28 in 4 years as a Giant. But luck is a fortune. At just the right moment, he gets his call up and he has made every post a winner.
Eric Banner and Molly Meldrum there looking rather grim as Richmond looking to do a job here on the Saints in the last quarter, lead it by 38 points. Dustin Martin simply irresistible. Kicked a couple. By the way, Townsend, I know Caddy's got to come back in and he'll come back into the side, but it just gives them another option, the Tigers, and to find someone on the eve of the finals is just an absolute bonus. Riewoldt looking for Bruce with a nice kick, but a desperate Asprey got a fist there.
Interesting game, Townsend. He's only had the 10 possessions, 7 kicks, 3 handballs, 4 contested possessions, so he's been able to find space in the forward line. Really got a couple of one over the top, so he's kicked 4 goals, so it's a great return no matter how they're generated.
Stevens just stood up in the tackle, did well. Handball intercepted by Markov, quickly given to Floston, and then the foot race is on. Rance leads it for the moment. Bouncing ball settles, just paddles it forward. Memory clever enough to keep it in. Roberton, well, bit of attention from both Edwards and Rance. Just going back to Townsend, the only player, and we said this earlier, that wasn't able to be chosen this week for this lineup was Josh Caddy. What a luxury as a coach.
Yeah, fitting well going into the finals is always a big advantage.
Nankervis went looking for Prestia, couldn't find him. Seb Ross had a couple of options. Weller was one. Steele went over the top, intercepted by Edwards. Cochin, little weighted ball over the top, picked off in the end by Carlisle.
50.
So Carlisle will be marched forward of the wing. Riewoldt, Bruce, Membry, Loney, all providing targets. Webster, fresh legs, launches the ball, and then knocked down by Grimes. Chance here for the Saints. Sinclair, little give. Billings on his right side, which is his left, and now to Membry.
That's a short kick, maybe 15 metres if you got to take big strides. It's always interesting when you look at the obviously it's 1.5 goal squares, isn't it, pretty much?
Yep.
That
15 gone.
That was just 15.
So Tim Membry has 1 for the afternoon. Looking for the Saints' 9th. 38 points the margin. Starting to find his rhythm as a Saint. Didn't find too much there.
So, Lee, just Dustin Martin being irresistible again here today, and they're going to need him to win the finals this year and win their first final in a long time since, what was it, 2001, I think, their last one. A mate of mine, Phil Rose, just texted me and he asked me to ask you the question. Will the Tigers keep Dustin Martin, do you think? What are you thinking? I mean, you've got a good sense for these things. Get an answer off you in a moment as Akers pops it to Bruce at the top of the square. Tigers have got some numbers. Sinclair in amongst it. Little snap around the body there from Gresham goes out of bounds on the full. What do you think?
Well, we're doing our mathematics that he's been offered 400,000 more for 7 years. Now, after tax, that's 200,000 a year. late in your life, you might look back and say, if I've got a chance to play in a good team, I should stick with it. But, gee, it's hard to resist the money. Me, I reckon you'd stay. That'd be my decision. But, gee, it's a lot of money, isn't it, when it comes down to that?
It is.
Sinclair works inside 50. Cute kick around the corner to Riewoldt. Rance spoilt the party. Well, Billings has fired a goal and he hits the woodwork.
What's your sniffer nose say, Haim, about Martin these days? Do you think he's
I was speaking to a player at the club and they were pretty pragmatic. They said he wants to stay because he loves the club, but the number now makes it a very confusing decision.
And I think that is the only decision he has to... That's the decision he's making in his mind. There's no question. It's a tough one.
It's a Godfather offer, and they don't come along too often.
That's right.
Yeah, you could say it's only money. It was probably a rich man who said that.
Yeah.
Dusty Martin, he's shown us today with his 34 touches, 2 goals, why he is the Brownlow favourite. He'll probably go a long way to winning the Ian Stewart medal here today. That's on offer as well, I would have thought. As Grigg, high footy on the head of Castagna, off hands, Prestia. And Carlisle able to cut that off.
With the rolled up sleeves, or cut off sleeves, 3/4 sleeves as he's started to do. Stevens looks about the place, thinks about switching it. Got to be a good kick over the top. It is, so they go backwards but keep hold of the football. Savage's kick made it tough for Weller, got rid of the first tackler, the second came at him. Townsend, Martin, they sort of collide in the middle of the ground. Low ball, tough for Akers.
Holding. St Kilda holding. Holding the man, Akers.
So they go again, the Saints from halfback. Again, it's Savage. Beautiful user of the football, spotted his man. It's Josh Bruce on the lead. Rance taken high, put himself in the right spot to get clobbered. He's done that all his career.
He's done that normal role. They haven't been able to crack the Rance code. We spoke about it in the pre-game that the ability for him to cover for his defenders, take his own man, and Membry, Riewoldt and Bruce today, they haven't been able to mark the ball against the Richmond defence at all.
Looks okay, Rance, despite that bit of a nick. Edwards sliding it through a hole, and what a kick that is.
Good hands.
Gee. Townsend, he's been one of the best on the ground today, Townsend. Sensational after debuting last week for the Tigers. Weller has taken the mark. Tiger fans just can't believe how much noise they're going to make in September. Huge game it'll be against the Cats. Who knows, Friday night, Saturday afternoon. Make no mistake, it'll be here. And make no mistake, there'll be 95,000 in the house for that game. Mouth-watering final to come in Melbourne. Rioli, one of the reasons why many will come. Alistair Grigg. Grigg launches from 50 metres out. Dusty in the goal square, it's there. The Tigers celebrating here. He's kicked 3.
It's just hard to keep up with them, Lethal. When they're rolling and when they are running in numbers, you look around and it just looks like it's yellow and black on the screen everywhere.
Yeah, they got that. They do cover the ground. It's and certainly when they were able to get possession of the ball on the half-back line, they get those smaller, agile players upfield, and then they just come back in numbers. Straight down the centre corridor, plenty of Richmond jumpers in the screen. It's a matter of who was going to have the shot at goal, and Grigg was able to nail it. The ruckman.
So the Tigers go again here. Grigg, well, missed his man, wanted Prestia, intercepted, and then the driving ball. A couple of Tigers, Floston or Rance, raffled off, ends up with Floston.
Straight across him, yep. Come on, Nick. Play on.
So all 3 goals in this term going the way of the yellow and black. Martin, Townsend and Grigg the last. So Tigers fans have been hoping for a season like this for a long time. They've got so much to look forward to. They'll win this afternoon. They're going to go roaring into September. They're going to have a few players desperately unlucky not to get a game. A full list to choose from as Gresham tries to squeeze the ball back. Another gem from Gresham. He's got 4 for the afternoon. Gresham kicked the first 3 for the Saints. Adds to it here. But with 10.5 minutes to play, unless something dramatic happens, it will be Richmond. And it will be a very happy home crowd at the MCG. The noise between the Cats and the Tigers here, week 1.
It's a nice shot. He's just got a burst of acceleration. Spoke earlier about his endurance. Probably has to get up to become a regular midfielder, but he's certainly got a lot of talent.
4 goals, 1 today. Chad Gresham. Dunstan pursued by Cotchin. High footy, Rance. So you look at their defenders and a lot of possessions. Floston's had 19. Look at Rance as well. Hooley now, Alice. I call him the connector, Alice. He's in the middle of everything. Steele to Stephen. 2 of the Jacks. Savage, bundle it out to Dunstan. Mongrels it to the 50. Broad attacks the footy. Got a bit of a helping hand from behind. Alice. Martin it was, the knock to Broad. And they'll pull up there. And I've just been doing some quick statistical perusing, and I've noticed there's no player on a current list in the AFL that has actually lost a final to Richmond. Not one. Dustin Fletcher was the last one last year. So gives you an idea how long it has been. 2001, we know. Their last win in a final.
So that year they finished in the top 4. They're going to do it again, you suspect, this year. Floston spun out of trouble. Broad did well. Hooley knew his man was there in Asprey. Fed it off to Ellis. Jack Graham. Hooley. Nankervis. Confidence now for the Tigers. Jack Riewoldt, his cousin, playing on the opposite side for the final time. Castagna knows Robertson is there, tried to just arch his back and get around him.
Had to lay the tackle in Robertson, and he knew that Castagna would be off if he got a gap between him, the 2 of them.
Hold the meter.
So the ball back towards the 2 big men. Bruce, not favoured, is Prestia. It's a clever kick. And the Tigers, they're home now. Prestia could hardly run in the pre-season. Knees were troubling him. Hadn't played since late in the year. The Suns. He's coming right at just the right time. And as we said, the luxury that Damien Hardwick and the match committee has to be able to look at the full list and say, who are our best 22?
Lee, this guy here, Dion Prestia, the human meatball, how important has he been for the Tigers?
I think he's been a great addition. I mean, Martin's been outstanding. Cotchin's been very good. And he just becomes that 3rd or 4th midfielder. Find plenty of the ball, use it pretty well.
Didn't quite make that tackle stick, just in a time of praise.
It becomes a numbers game. I mean, you got your very best, but you want your sort of 3rd and 4th to be, almost A graders as well.
So Martin cruises through again. Whatever the task at the moment, he's able to do it. Launches the ball long to McIntosh. Didn't hit it as he would have liked, but skipped into his hands. And now Butler takes on Nunes, got the speed. Perfectly delivered to Jack Riewoldt.
Just having that 3 or 4 players, we've lauded it most of the day, that can actually just accelerate away from the opposition chaser. It just gives you time and space to set up the best option rather than being rushed and hurried through lack of speed.
On its way to the punt road end. 2 becomes 3. means he's brought up 50 for the season. Jack Riewoldt came into the afternoon with 47 next to his name. So again, a huge return for the man that they've gone to so often, and he's been the target. He's rarely let them down. 50 goals, 7th time he's done that.
Good kick by Riewoldt to get his 3rd. And Lee, I guess the comforting thing for Tiger players and fans is to know that they are going to play in at least 2 finals. I mean, sudden death is a different pressure for them.
Yeah, once you get to sudden death, which it obviously is for everybody after the first week, it just gives just a little bit of solace, I suppose. But they're after big things. They're going to find out their way up to 3rd position, so they want to be.
Almost 70,000 in the house today. 69,104 today against St Kilda, who weren't going to make it. Gives you an idea of the power of what Geelong and the Tigers can do. Forget about the parochial nonsense of this little stadium down there at Geelong. It's got to be in the big banger here at the G, and we've got to get as many in the house as we can to revitalise the whole finals. Lambert takes the mark. Am I being too harsh, Hayne?
Well,
I don't think you need to lobby that hard.
I don't think you need to lobby too hard. It'll be here.
I'm not lobbying. I'm just giving a
sounded like lobbying to me.
Common sense.
Yeah, it'll be here.
Common sense look at it.
We'd all be very surprised if it's not here.
Lambert misses.
Lethal just looking at Damien Hardwick's record. They'll win today, the Tigers. His record at Richmond will be 89 wins, 88 losses and 2 draws. For the first time in his 179-game career as a coach, he will be in front on the wins and losses.
Yeah, that's hard. Well, with equalisation, as we say, if you can actually win more than you lose after a long career, you've done pretty well. But I mean, they had a bad year last year. We know that for some unknown reason they dropped right down the bottom, but they won 15 games the year before that. So it's not as if all of a sudden they've come completely out of nowhere.
Broad around the corner, but Dunstan easily, and then one over the top to Weller. Still full of running. Riewoldt down on the outer side, just putting back on a loose shoe. Markov, wonderful handball over the top to Lambert. Quickly a look inside. I think he wanted Butler. Found Robertson, and Nick has 5 minutes and change left on a superlative career. Shoe done up, kicks to him, handball's on. Nothing phases him, doesn't get flustered. He gets anxious, as he said, but he's always been cool in a crisis. And he's going to leave this afternoon as he's left the game every time he's played.
That's the ultimate.
Exhausted.
The ball following you.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's on the ground, sitting down, he's doing his shoelaces up, stands up, takes a chest mark.
Just an update too, boys. West Coast only 11 points up. Melbourne are now in the 8. So you can imagine those Melbourne players sitting on the edge right at the moment. They are now in the 8 because it's just an 11-point West Coast lead.
I know a lot of players aren't watching it. A lot of fans aren't watching it either. They're just going to check at the end of the day. They won't be able to stand it.
This guy
50-metre penalty
is going to kick his 5th goal if the umpire gives him the correct 50. Townsend on the back of, what was it, 6 last week?
Talk about
5
work
this week.
I think Nunes tackled McIntosh just to stop him running forward, and that becomes the 50-metre penalty to the play with the ball, which is Townsend. So from 90 metres out, he goes to 40 metres out.
I love how composed he is and just readies himself.
Certainly looks like he's got a good kicking action, doesn't he? He looks like he can take his shots.
And he's been aiming at left post, knowing it's a little left to right, whether that's wind or his natural kick, every time. Now, what are we waiting for here? He's got to pick it up, the umpire said. 10 seconds left. He doesn't have to pick it up, ump. He's got 10 seconds to go. So just under 5 minutes remaining. Townsend for goal number 5. Look at that. Again, the left to right. What a find for the Tigers. Malloy happy.
11 goals in 2 weeks, BT.
Yeah.
Amazing. Talk about out of nowhere.
Yep. So, Lee, finding a player, Brendan Gale, the CEO, would be happy with that, but finding a player like this on the eve of the finals.
Well, the trouble is he hasn't exactly see the free kick off the ball that becomes a 50-metre penalty. Don't know whether he's actually improved himself in a long term, but certainly in a couple of weeks. But it's also been a couple of weeks where they've had big wins. He's going to be tested a little bit more, I'm sure. But if you kick 11 goals in 2 weeks, it's hard to think you're not going to be there in the first week of the finals, at least.
As you say, BT, what a find. It's like an antique roadshow. What's this plate worth? About 50,000? Sorry? 50,000. Jacob Townsend, the value he has right now to this Richmond side. 11 goals in 2 weeks. So Membry looking for another. Has one only. 1-1 for the afternoon. 5 straight last time they played, but how different that all was. 92-10 at half-time at Etihad on that Saturday night. So Tigers here by 44 at half-time. Margins 53. He's kicked it straight. He's kicked it all the way. Another major to the Saints. 47 the lead to the Tigers.
So Membry gets his second, and I've just been told that the West Coast, I think, have kicked another goal.
Back in the 8th.
And they're back in the 8th.
Well, I guess it's like everything. It's intriguing along the way, but it's only what happens at the very end. And as we talk about finals and premierships and all kinds of things through the season, but really, and even after today, 10 go, 8 alive, and all it is a starting point for the last month.
Stuart Lowe, Robert Harvey,
Nick
Riewoldt's wife,
yeah,
down there. This is all about Nick and the next couple of minutes here. The 336-game superstar, the 19th on the all-time games played, drawing level with Johnny Rantel, the second most ever for St Kilda, drawing level with Robert Harvey, or not level with, but almost, as Billings puts another one away. So Billings gets his second.
It's a bit about the mercy rule all of a sudden with 3.5 minutes to go. They well got the game in control. Richmond, St Kilda are still trying to finish it off, but you know, from Richmond point of view, what he got to go now, except maybe an injury in the last 2 or 3 minutes here. I'm sure Damien Hardwick would more than likely just blow the siren, and then the aftermath, like Friday night, the aftermath becomes one of the highlights of the game when the Riewoldt aftermath of the retirement, as Hodge and Murphy and Boyd were on Friday night.
Just saw Joe Riewoldt on screen watching his son play for the final time. Just 3.5 minutes left in his career. They've been through so much together, particularly in recent years. We know how brilliant Nick Riewoldt has been on the field, but I think a lot of us have seen just how brilliant he is off the field. His sister's passing has shown us a completely different side to the man who arrived here playing this game as a teenager and as a kid and leaves it a universally admired man.
So 2 things to celebrate: the career of Nick Riewoldt and the Tigers with a double chance. The Tiger fans will be dancing all the way home tonight, Lee.
Yes, 3rd position on the ladder. It's a good starting point. And given what we expect, they're going to be playing another Melbourne team in the finals. 2nd, 3rd.
Martin getting the applause.
Same equation.
He leaves the ground, probably for the last time today, I would suspect, with just under 3 minutes remaining. And how's that? The Richmond runner has just gone out and said to Nankervis, and I reckon as a deliberate thing, knowing how important he is, being the only ruckman basically ready to go, and they are demanding that he comes off the ground now. The runner physically went out and pulled him from the stoppage, and then he still wouldn't go off, and then he dragged him off. You can see him at the bench there now. Good decision by Damien Hardwick.
Yep, nothing to gain, a lot to lose. Get him off.
Absolutely.
I reckon there's a few other players he'd like to do that too, BT, but of course,
Of course there is, but he's got Martin off.
Yeah. Trouble with multiple rotational interchange. You can't sort of have 4 players off and wear everyone else out. So that's always the element. But for this last couple of minutes, there's nothing to lose now.
Yeah, I'm happy with the attitude that the Tigers have taken here, because it doesn't often happen, as you say, Lee. It's hard to get it to work, but Martin and Mankervis currently sitting on the bench, and Rant. So they're 3 most important players, you could say.
With 2 minutes to go.
2 minutes to go.
Exactly what
on
you
the
do.
bench.
Exactly what you do.
Short ball, Ellis.
Except Martin won't be on to make sure about the Brownlow votes or something. BT.
All right, Preston's
Joe, 2
got him.
metres back. Joe, 2 metres back. Thank you.
So this is Graham. So it's just bubbling over here in front of the 69,000. All-time record gates at the AFL in season 2017 as Riewoldt pulls in perhaps his last mark, and he goes the barrel as well. It was just a low ball barrel, but he said, I've been dying to do this. And he's been too disciplined, Lee, to do it in any other game.
We say that Jack almost saw that he was about to mark the ball, so he, oh, well, I'll just stand the mark.
I wonder whether Jack will want to go and play on him.
Thanks, Shane.
There's Grimes. So great scenes at the MCG for lots of reasons. But the Tigers in control here by 41 points. Castagna elevates. One last roll of the dice. Prestia to Riewoldt. Over the top, here comes Ellis. Ellis will jump onto this, and the Tigers have got players everywhere here. Short ball to Grigg. Grigg wants to go. He's thinking about it. Into the goal square. Deliberately finds Butler. He'll kick another one. And the Tigers by 47.
We've spoken all day about how good Richmond's defence has been, how hard it's been all year to be cracked. St Kilda have got 11 goals. They averaged that against Richmond, but they also look like they've got a forward line that can score. And I think to go all the way in September, on your good days, you've got to be able to kick 15-plus goals. And they're up to 19 today. So they have got the ability to score big. They defend well. Got a bit of class around the middle of the ground, so it's going to be exciting times for Richmond.
Rioli. Gresham and Stephen combine. Prestia. The interception by Dunstan and the short ball, and St Kilda's Billings to Gresham. Gresham lining up, I think, for his 5th goal. The siren sounds. Nick Riewoldt's career is complete and finished. Tigers are into the top 4 and have got the double chance. You wonder what he's thinking as Gresham nails the goal. Nice positive finish to get it back to 41 points at the MCG on a huge day for that man there. Emotions bubbling over. And the Tigers as well into the top 4. It's a great song, and I know we don't want to cut it short, but down to you, Sully, with the man of the moment.
Dusty's down here enjoying the song as well. Mate, you're finally there. Yeah, who would have thought at the start of the year with the top 4, it's bloody exciting. Still got a way to go, but it's exciting. So the double chance now is locked in. That must mean so much to you. Yeah, it's huge. Your percentage goes up when you finish top 4, so yeah, we're looking forward to giving the red hot crack. And what about the energy this crowd gives you, particularly in a song, when you're running off, when your teammates are running on? It's electric. Yeah, it's pretty special. I can only imagine what it's going to be like in a couple of weeks, so looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Enjoy the break, mate. Thanks, mate.
I'll tell you what, I can only imagine what it's going to be like in a couple of weeks as well. It's going to be Richmond Geelong, and there's going to be 90,000 plus here.
It's been about Richmond up until now. Now it's about Nick Riewoldt. It's such a melancholy time when, like, he was a footballer this morning. All of a sudden now, in about an hour's time, he's an ex-footballer. Yep. And you live your life in that bubble, in the cycle, and Let's finish, and there he is with Jack.
Amazing scenes here. Tigers are happy. Brad Sewell's happy because he's got his man. Down to you, Sully.
Here we go. Thanks very much. Really. Soak it up.
Yeah, it's an amazing sport to be part of. You know, clearly there's some sadness at it being the end. But I know it's the Richmond people cheering, but it's still something pretty special to be a part of, and I'm just so fortunate to have been part of it for a long time.
And here's your cousin as well. There's a nice bit of chemistry there late over here. You throw the ball back with a bit of a grin.
Yeah, I just got a little push-out free kick, but look, it's a real emotional moment for obviously the family and Roo to finish up here at the mighty MCG. Footy fate, I mean, playing the last game against your cousin, mate, means a lot. I'm really super proud of him.
Just quickly, Sully, you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're no longer an AFL player. What do you reckon the first emotion you'll feel?
Mate, I'm not too sure. It's one of those things where I think it just washes over you, and however you feel is how you feel. I did get a nice text message from Bob Murphy on Saturday morning telling me that the sun did come up after Friday night, so I appreciate that, Bob. But, mate, it's just been an incredible journey. I'm so lucky to have been part of AFL football for as long as I have, and I'll still be around. But the ability to come out and to compete and play is something that I've relished, I've thrived. So it's going to be a tough itch to scratch, but I'm really grateful for everything that's occurred.
It's been 17 years. You arrived really as a kid, and you're going to leave with 2 kids of your own. Has it gone quickly?
Oh, it's flown. It really has. And I guess as you get older, you know, just that becomes exponential, the way it just flies by. But as I said, I've been fortunate to have done it for a really long time. A lot of guys don't get that opportunity, and you know, the club's in great shape. Really, it means a lot to me to be a one-club player, a St.Kilda player, and you know, I'm excited by the future. I think a lot of guys get to this stage and maybe have a bit of fear, but I'm excited about what lies in front.
He's been a mentor to you, he's a cousin to you, and I don't know whether there's too many players that have been more admired. It's sort of nice to have someone that plays for so long and we get to see them. It's going to be sad not to have him playing for the Saints.
Yeah, it is, Hamish. Look, I've openly spoken about how fortunate I was to come to a great club in Richmond and have a great Tasmanian, Matthew Richardson, as a role model there. But outside of the football club, you couldn't pick a better role model. The way he's captained a great football club to so close to being a 2-time premiership player, but super proud of him, super proud of his family. I know that everyone here would be excited. People have come from America to see his final game, and we just love him.
You look around, you see some familiar faces. It's going to be hard to leave for the last time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, clearly a lot of my past teammates are over there. It's those relationships that I think is what you really enjoy while you're in it, and you really miss when you're gone. And I'm fortunate to have developed so many great friendships over the journey, ones that will carry me for a lifetime. And walking off to my beautiful wife and kids and my family is, you know, that makes the future exciting to think about.
Everyone that's watched you played has been in awe of how you've done it. Your old man said to me before, I can't do this anymore. 336 and 17 years is enough. On behalf of all of us at Seven and on behalf of the footy community, congratulations and enjoy the next part of the journey.
So the Riewolds separate, but this man here will hold a straight line as players have converged, not just from today's game, but from Nick Riewoldt's career. There's a long line of them there. All of the greats of the St. Kilda Football Club with the utmost respect. And have a listen to this. Hardly a person has left the G. The Danaher. Josh Bruce and Jack Riewoldt lifting Nick. Riewoldt with friends and family. His dad, Joe, there, the back, wife and kids, and nice respect shown by the Richmond players and fans alike that have stayed to see the departure of the great Nick Riewoldt here at the MCG. Brendan Goddard just to the left-hand side there as well. Doesn't know what to do with himself, Nick. Just says thanks to everybody. He said, come on, I'm a little embarrassed by this. Let's go down the rooms for some private time. Sorry to tell you, Nick, there's going to be no private time down there either, because everyone wants a piece of you. So he departs the MCG for the last time. What a day it has been at the MCG today. We saw the departure of a great in Nick Riewoldt. We've seen the Tigers make the top 4 and earn a double chance.